Nicole Pierce, and we're back for Career Conversations with Nicole. I'm so excited. I have a wonderful friend of mine on today. I have Kirstie Colin from KSU. Hi.
Hi, Nicole. Thanks for having me today.
Thank you for being here. Kirstie is a friend of mine, but she's also in our Coles family, which is awesome. She works within career planning development as a career coach and internship advisor. Before we get started on the topic today, do you want to share all the fun resources that you can give the students or things you can help them with?
Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully I've been able to meet some of you already. If not virtually, you see some of my emails come through. But my role here in Coles College and at KSU is to help all of our students to be ready to land their top careers when they graduate. And so we help by providing a lot of one-on-one appointments and advice and feedback. We can look at your resume, your LinkedIn, talk about your networking strategies, just really help you to figure out the best plan, moving forward. And so that's kind of what I do with that. But also my other title as internship advisor is that I help students go through the process of getting academic internships, making sure that they're qualified and making sure that they are able to register and get the credits that they're looking for.
That's so awesome. You are such a resource for our students. I love it. Well, today we have a fun topic at hand. It is what you need to know. What do you need to know about internships?
Right.
And we get this question a lot from students. You and I both do. So we're going to cover all the things, and I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, definitely. I know you all have questions about internships. And so hopefully this video can just kind of answer a whole bunch of them for you, and then that you can have a resource to go to if you have more.
Perfect. So first question is, why should I get an internship before I graduate? Or can I get a job without one? And this question is spot on. So great. So give us all the deets.
Yeah, I do get this question a lot. It's very, very important in the field of accounting to have some practical experience when you graduate. The companies do value your bachelor's degree. They see a lot of value in that, but they also see that value in that student who is able to kind of use that knowledge, that theoretical knowledge, and put it into practice. And so that student's going to be valued a little bit higher as a graduate than the other student without. So is it possible to get a job without an internship? I'm sure some people do. Is it easier? Are you more attractive to employers when you have that experience? Then absolutely. There are some firms that won't even consider you if you haven't had an internship, like for example, in a public accounting firm. If you haven't done that, then they'll consider other people. And so you're sort of limiting yourself if you don't do the internship.
I agree 100%. It's so valuable. One of my big no-nos is I didn't do one in my undergrad, and I still regret it. So any student, I recommend you do it. Also, just like she said, the reality is that some firms will not hire you until you've done one. And so I've even had students that had graduated and had to do an so-called internship with a company, and it was like the date before before they'd give you the full-time offer. So
I've heard of students also who've done or had to find an internship post-graduation because they couldn't get into a firm otherwise. And so sometimes you can't avoid it in accounting. Other fields maybe, but you got to do it.
Well, and that just says, students, that just go ahead and do it while you're in classes, and don't wait until after. So I love it. Perfect. The next question is, what is the best advice for someone looking to land an internship in the next few semesters?
Okay, so I definitely think with accounting, the best advice is to start really early. So, we'll talk about advice for that student, who's starting a little bit early. But if you are kind of running down to the wire, like some students think, I'm only going to think about an internship when I'm a senior. If that's you, you might be limited in terms of your options right now. But I think the best thing to do is to really take your job search up a notch. Don't expect that you'll just apply to 2 or 3 internships and get 2 or 3 interviews and offers within a few weeks. It will take some time. Right now is a great time to start because a lot of firms and companies are posting positions, getting ready for the fall career fair. Absolutely, you need to go to the accounting and finance fair this fall. Happens early in September. And you need to be looking very seriously online at positions being posted as well on Handshake, on LinkedIn, on Indeed. Use as many sources as you can. In addition, don't be afraid to ask people that you know. Maybe you are, familiar with people or connected with people on LinkedIn if they have internships at their companies or jobs, opportunities for you as an accounting student to be able to utilize those skills. So use all the resources that you have.
Oh my gosh. So many good things. You just gave us so much good content. So the first thing I want to just highlight so students hear it. If you've only applied for 5 jobs and you haven't gotten any of them, sweetheart, just keep going, right? Yeah. That's the advice. Like 5 is a small number and it's competitive. So I'm so glad you touched on that. I love the part about just being early because I just want students to try to wrap their brain around the fact that employers do recruitment in the spring. So let's say this spring, 2020, like January, right around that time, they were looking for interns for the following spring, for 2021. Right. They were extending offers during that time. So if you could just wrap your head around, you have to apply a lot earlier than when you actually want the job.
And the other thing I wanted to say, based on what you were saying too, we're talking about students, limiting themselves on jobs. But I would also say, if you're not hearing back from companies, let's say you've applied to like 10 or more, most students apply to at least 100 jobs at KSU when they're looking for jobs. If you're not hearing back from people, then maybe that's a sign you got to go back and take a look at your resume, take a look at your application materials. It might be a sign something's not really highlighting you as well as it should be. So definitely get some feedback if that's the case.
Next question is, what is the best advice for students new to accounting, and how early should they be looking? I mean, we did just say early, but how early?
Well, this is what we would all hope that students, as soon as you're getting in, you're even looking to get into calls, you've started taking some accounting classes, accounting is the path for you. That's the time when you need to start looking at what is out there for me. What are, the different accounting opportunities? Do I want to go into public accounting, corporate accounting? Do I want to do audit? This is the time when you want to start thinking about that. Also the time when you want to start networking as well. So like joining Beta Alpha Psi gives you a great opportunity to learn about different, firms and, things that are out there so that you can connect yourself and get ready. Like Nicole said, sometimes firms are looking a year out to hire for that next year. So you're a sophomore now, you're starting your accounting classes, you're starting to get into Beta Alpha Psi. That is the time you want to start applying to your summer leadership programs. You want to attend the Meet the Firms event that we do in the spring. You want to start networking and finding your best fit. So as soon as you can is the answer.
Yeah, no, I love it. And I was actually just speaking to another recruiter, and what you just said made me think about it. But this is the time too. Sooner the better. But this is also a good time for you to start thinking through what you want in your company, right? Do you want to travel? Do you want to stay close to home? Do you want a commute? All the things that might be important to you? Because I think students miss that aspect. Yeah. They just start trying to figure out, well, what opportunities. I'll just take whatever I can get. But starting to really hone in on what they want, this is a good time for that too.
That's how you find out your best fit, and I've talked to students who are like, I appreciate this firm because it feels more like a family. I appreciate this firm because of their, flexibility. I appreciate this one because it's so big and there's so much room for movement. So really depending on what is most important to you, your values professionally, you can find, a organizational culture that fits that if you're starting early to define it for yourself, but also to look at what's out there and what fits best.
Yeah. And honestly, it'll make your decision easier if you know what your values are, right? Yeah. I mean, then because so many students will come to me and say what kind of research should I do before a career fair or whatever? And the backside of that is, well, what do you want? And then go look at the company to see if they have those things. you know?
Absolutely.
So the next question is, what is the application process? And before we even dive into that, will you touch just a little bit on the fact that we kind of talked about it already, but just again, reiterate, some students do internships for credit and some don't.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think you have to start early to think about it, to decide for yourself what you want to do, because if you wait too late, it might be too late for you to be able to make that decision. But a lot of firms, are looking for students at different levels with different skill sets. So you might get offered an opportunity maybe before you qualify for it academically. So you might decide, I'm going to do this internship because I want to get my foot in the door. I want to get this experience. So that's why some students I talk to might decide not to get academic credit because they want to just kind of get in and get that experience. But students, if you want, you can get credit that can help you, number one, to graduate. The internship course counts as your business electives. So if you haven't already filled those electives, for example, if you had a couple minors or a double major, you already filled it. If you have those credits available, then the internship course can go ahead and go in there and complete that requirement so that you can move on toward graduation. Also, internship courses could help you to get academic credit that will count towards your 150 credit limit for the CPA. And so we'll talk, I think, a little bit about that later on too. But that's something that a lot of accounting students think about, and so if you're thinking, I want to get internship credit because at the very least, I want to use it to graduate, you have to think about a few things. Number one, you have to apply by the deadlines. And so we have a deadline every semester. When you go to our website, careers.kennesaw.edu, you can easily click and find out when the next deadline is. Typically, it's a week to 2 weeks before the semester starts. So think about that. The next thing is you have to apply before you're doing the job so that you're in the course at the same time you're doing the job. I can't tell you how many times I talk to students who are like, I did an internship last summer, can I get credit for it now?
And no, we can't retroactive
absolutely
apply your internship.
No. And they'll say, well, my boss will verify and they'll tell you what I learned and they'll write anything you want them to write. I'm like, it just doesn't work that way. You have to be in the class at the same time that you are in the internship. So deadlines matter. That's important. We do have kind of step-by-step on our website as well as to like the process to apply, where to go on Handshake to find the application, complete it. But basically, after you completed the application, we will go ahead and make sure the professor approves of your internship. We will make sure your supervisor says, yes, you're doing this internship. We'll also do any types of confirmation that we need to, especially in this age of COVID, that the internship is going to be a helpful, useful learning activity for you. Once you have all that, we allow you to register for the class. So sometimes I'll get students will ask me like, the internship class is full, what can I do? I really want to get into it. Your class is always going to look close. So to you, it's going to assume that it's full, but it's never full. So there's always room for you, but you're just never going to be able to register for it until you do our whole process. And so the first step is to really go ahead and get into that process. And you can start it as soon as you have an offer. So if you get an offer right now, you did a summer leadership program, you have an offer for next spring, you can start to do that process.
Oh, great. So they can start the process
that concludes
really early
the first
too.
part
Okay, good.
What you need to know about internships with Kirstie Collins. Stick with us. Watch the second part to learn more about what happens after you register for the class, what the cost is, and why you might want to do an additional internship for the CPA. So, until next time, bye.